What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, Ghostface Killah. All right, Amir, so we're back here on The Great Debaters. Today we're getting into some Ghostface Killah, but before we get to that, if you haven't already, please subscribe. The button's right down there. It's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews as possible, as many great debaters as possible, as many commentaries as possible, as much as we can here on Unique Access Entertainment. So please hit that subscribe button right down there. As y'all know, it's free. Right next to that is the join button. We got several people already joined as members to Unique Access, so please help us that way if you can as well. And we just appreciate all the support to help us get to the next level of the game. Now, Amir, Ghostface Killah. This is his second album, came out in 2000. Phenomenal project. Amazingly, 7 years after the Wu. So we're starting to get into the second round of albums from artists. So, for you, what were your first experiences getting into Supreme Clientele?
Man, I don't really remember, to be honest with you. I just remember really being in the Wu at that time and just pretty much playing everything. So from group albums to solo albums to affiliate albums, all of it. And Supreme Clientele is definitely one of the more standouts, I'd say, of all of them. I mean, it's really, really great, as you'll hear from Soren and I's picks. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into my first pick here. And my first pick is one of the first joints, and that would be Nutmeg. And Nutmeg features RZA, but is not produced by RZA. It's produced by Black Moz-Art. And that already, I was a little shocked, because when I was actually listening to like Wu-Tang up to this point, almost all the tracks were produced by the RZA. I mean, not all of them, but a good deal of them were. So to see that he was a feature, yet not the producer on that song, he produces on the album, obviously, that did shock me a little bit. So to hear this beat, first of all, I mean, the beat I just loved. I mean, Black Moz-Art did an awesome job. I mean, the sample's great. And what's also interesting is that a lot of this album was written in Africa, while Ghostface was in Africa. They didn't record the album in Africa, so it's very interesting, like, hearing the things he's saying. I mean, Ghostface has always been one of the harder people for me, especially not being from New York. And Ghostface is just a very interesting individual, just New York side. He's very interesting. It's very hard to keep up with his jargon. I'm sure Soren can attest to that. It's very hard to keep up with his jargon. You catch me constantly rewinding. And especially like on Supreme Clientele, there's a lot of things he says that I'm just like, he cannot be duplicated. No way this guy can be duplicated. So Nutmeg, he's spitting a lot. And then it was interesting because I remember reading that this particular song, and the album really in general, he was saying that he wrote everything he wrote a lot of the songs without like music. So he's saying like that's why some of the songs are a little more offbeat, or you know, the cadence is different than like what you'd expect, and blah blah whatever. And I'm just like, that just adds like the mystique and just how dope that this song really ended up coming out. I just thought Nutmeg was just a wild way to start the album. I thought that was awesome. And then you get RZA at on the last verse, and he's got like some funny bars in there too. And it's just like RZA's flow, just in general, is always like a hard one to. I feel like you either love it or you hate it or whatever. And there's some times where I'm just like, RZA's just awesome. And on this one, I just love RZA's input. So Ghostface and RZA to pretty much start the album off, I really love it. And I was like, well, this is a positive sign to see what's going to happen on Supreme Clientele. Nutmeg, love the beat, love the lyrics, love how it's totally not on beat, and Ghostface is just slaying it, and you have to rewind it to understand the lyrics, as you have to do on a lot of the songs. That's the first pick.
Nutmeg, a great song, is not one of my picks, although I think it's phenomenal. And I interviewed RZA, you can check the link up there, and we talked about him being able to focus on just his lyrics, which he did in 2002's album, Saturday Afternoon Kung Fu Theater, that he did with DJ Scratch. So if you haven't checked out that interview, definitely check it out. But like Amir was saying, when RZA is able to really just focus on his lyrics, he's very entertaining, to say the least. And Nutmeg is a prime example of that. So my first pick is going to be Mighty Healthy. So that one, I love because first, let's just start with the production. Just having this combination of all these different break beats. You got Nobody Beats the Biz. You got all this different stuff. Just production wise, that's one of my favorite beats on Supreme Clientele, and I just think it's just so amazing and so dense, and I love the breakbeat style of rap, and that's of course getting into rap early in the game. That's something that I just grew to love, and the sound and the feel of that I really enjoy. So when I heard that on Nutmeg, on Mighty Healthy, I was just like, oh wow, this is like taking it all the way back to what we hear on the tapes in the 70s and early 80s, but now it's 99, 2000 with Ghostface Killah, and Mighty Healthy I thought was amazing. Ghost, as he is on most of Supreme Clientele, is just all over the place, lyrically, saying this, saying that. Some, obviously, witty, unpredictable lyrics, as they're known, but I just thought Mighty Healthy, man, that beat in particular is very mesmerizing and, like, just hypnotic to me. So I think Ghost shines throughout Supreme Clientele lyrically. Mighty Healthy's no exception to that, but to me that beat is just so awesome. And it also, because of the Wu and because of Iron Man before that, Ghost's debut album, this one was much more stripped down sonically, which reminded me of earlier Wu stuff to a degree. So I really loved Mighty Healthy. Amir, that was my first pick. What's your second pick?
So my second pick, Mighty Healthy, is in there too. I mean, amazing song. And I also, to add on to what you said, mathematics killed the beat. Then on top of that, I really like how Ghostface is actually talking about some past lyrics and music, because he's mentioning like The World Can't Touch, Ghost, Purple Tape, Ray co-host, because Only Built for Cuban Links, that was really like, although it's Raekwon's album, Ghostface had a lot of the writing and a lot of the vocals on that album. Yeah. So it really is, him and
borderline
Ray,
collaborative album.
Literally, that's what it is. Ghost even has solo songs on there. So Wisdom Body, I think. But anyways, I like how he does that. He talks about he has Wildflower on cycle, picked up the broom, thought he was Michael. So it's like Ghostface is just saying these things. He's just so awesome. And then he talks about like dead birds and microchips and Bill Gates and like all these things. I'm like, what the hell? There's all this Ghost stuff is awesome. Then we get one of the more iconic lines where he says, when he's hugging these mics, we get busy, come have a good time with G.O.D. and shake that body. And then you get like Madlib and Kanye doing these songs too, with like No More Parties in LA and New God Flow and these things, and these are songs and lyrics that just last forever. And I remember that people were loving that line when it was sampled, and it's just a testament to how great Ghost is, and just how, like Soren was saying, how witty he is, just like in the name Wu-Tang. And how is that song not one of the best? So what's your second pick on the album?
My second pick is Buck 50.
Oh wow, that's a good
song. Now this song, I remember where I was the first time I heard Supreme Clientele, or one of the first times I heard it, and I remember Buck, and I was in Santa Monica, California. But that being said, when I heard Buck 50, first of all, the sample, people will know it, go back and listen to it if you're not familiar, but the fact of Ghost is great on it, but to me, it's really Method Man and Redman on this song. Take it from excellent to astronomically phenomenal. And when Redman said, your weed got more seeds than ODB, that was one of my favorite lyrics possibly ever. It's just so hilarious. And Method Man, as he does almost 100% of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, his guest appearances are just immaculate. But Redman and Ghost in particular on there are just amazing. And the way that the beat builds and changes, and RZA does a great job on this one that he produced.
Yeah.
Just how he builds it with the samples and changes and drops sounds out. Like, this is in my opinion, brilliantly produced song. And as we get into the so many guest appearance era, which we are almost in or right in around this time, this is one of those where I still got the hunger that we felt, or the desire to have like an amazing every line is a standout line on Buck 50. And I think that after this 2000 era, because so many people were rapping and so many people were just going and doing stuff, I didn't think that there was so much of like, I have to make every line pop, every line stand out. And on Buck 50, every line is just amazing. And when, you know, the album is more than 20 years old now, and we're just sitting up here laughing at the lyrics and smiling, and it's just an amazing appearance. And this is one of those albums too where when I got the album back in the day, it didn't have like who was on anything. So I'm like, Ghost is killing this song, Meth's killing this song, and then all of a sudden Redman comes out of nowhere, and I was like, wait, what? That's Redman. And he's just blew me away, man. And I thought it was awesome too with the ODB line that Redman is not in Wu, referencing a Wu member, but then also making fun of a Wu member and like delivering an amazing lyric all at the same time. So
it's Redman, man.
Buck 50's my second pick. Amir, what's your third pick on Supreme Clientele?
Third pick, you know what I'm noticing now, Soren? It's that all my picks are on the first half of the album. Mighty Healthy's on the first half, because I'm looking at the tape here.
Right.
Nutmeg's on the first half, and then my last pick, One, is the track after Nutmeg. And now that I'm thinking about it too, you just mentioned that there are no features listed on the back of the album, at least the cassette, and I believe the CD is the same
one.
Also, what's interesting is the skits aren't named on here.
No, they're not.
So they're not. So it looks like a much shorter album than it really is.
Especially by the number of tracks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of tracks on this album. So very interesting that they did that. But anyways, One is one of my three picks. Awesome song. I mean, man, I was just talking about the samples on Nutmeg, and we were talking about the samples on Mighty Healthy, and this is another one that I think is just such an excellent use of the sample and the beat. And then you hear it on the outro of the song where he's like saying how many L's you smoked, and then the vocal saying one, and how many chicks you banged one, and how many cakes you baked one, and whatever he's saying. So I thought that was also clever to interact with the beat at the end. And Juju, one of the more underrated artists in hip-hop, shout out to the Beat Nuts, man, he cooked this one up. And I just love, like, I just talked about Black Moz-Art on Nutmeg, and he talked about RZA on Buck 50, and we talked about Mathematics on Mighty Healthy, and now I'm talking about Juju on One. It's like, who else are they going to pull for this album? And that's another reason why Supreme Clientele. I'm shocked that, you were thinking RZA was going to do like all the beats or 80% of the beats or something like that, and that's the only way, or one of the prime ways to get success out of the Wu. No, I mean, they worked with a lot of producers, and they made one of the best albums in the Wu camp, and One is just such an awesome song. I also just love like the people in the hood, they going crazy, like 50 cent sodas, they trying to kill us, blah blah, all this stuff. Like, I think Ghostface once again just has a lot of like interesting and also lines that make you think, like, why is he saying this, and why are these words coming into his rhymes, and really makes you think. And Ghostface, like I stated more at the beginning of this video, he's one of the harder artists, for me at least, to truly like grasp everything he's saying. So I do have to, with him, not only is it because the music is dope, but also just for me to understand, I really have to rewind a lot of it, or just play the song over again. And that is big on Supreme Clientele for me, but it's like no problem for me because the music is dope, the style is dope, the way he flows is awesome, his voice is cool, the guest features, everything just works. And One is a track that I think all that comes together, and it just sounds excellent. And I think sonically, it's one of my favorite tracks from the album. Also, one thing I just want to mention before Soren gets on his last song, which who knows, maybe it's One, but there's also a Canadian pressing of the album which has a song on it that's not on the U.S. pressing, and if I recall, it's called The Rain. which, if you haven't heard that, check it out. It's at least on YouTube. Check that song out. Awesome song. So us US people didn't get it on our pressings, and
No.
Canada got it on some pressings, and they took it away. So if y'all been watching this video up to this point, there's your treat. Check out that song. Soren, what's your last pick?
Also, one I just want to add with the piano, the dun 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 dun. I just think that works so well with everything else going on in the song. My third pick is one of the other singles, Shay Shay La Ghost. And this one I love because, unlike a lot of the rest of the album, this one has an up-tempo, festive kind of, for the Wu especially, even up to the year 2000, a very unusually radio-ready or party vibe song, and not in a way that made it corny or whack or, oh man, Ghost is trying to cross over or Ghost is trying to sell out. And on top of all that, I thought it was U-God's best performance since Enter the Wu-Tang, or one of his best performances at least since Enter the Wu-Tang. So the combination was unexpected of getting U-God on the song, the production and the beat, especially with the percussion driving so much of it, like with Mighty Healthy. As people that have watched a lot of my stuff know, I'm very focused on the drums in particular. So I thought the drums on Shay Shay La Ghost were phenomenal. Carlos Best, as as he's done throughout his career, another amazing song. And I thought it showed in a lot of way Ghost's versatility to be able to have the Mighty Healthy, the Buck 50, which are pure like lyrical gymnastics exercise type of things, and then Shay Shay La Ghost, where he's still doing what he does, but he's doing it over a beat that shows he can excel at that type of beat and do something that has a little bit more commercial viability to it, to where somebody could just hear that song, or like I did at the time, hearing it in the clubs here and there in different parts of the country that would embrace it and play it. So I just really liked it. I thought U-God, and they play with it, Shake Your Body Body, all these things where they drop the music out and the beat stops and all that stuff. Like, I think all of those types of things, one, show great production, two, show creativity, three, show they're trying to add different wrinkles. You got singing on the song with a woman, which is, obviously a staple of Wu-Tang stuff, but it's not overdone. And when the Wu does it, whether it's Blue Raspberry, whoever, they tend to do it well. So Takitha, of course. So, when they have these females come in, I think it does add a different dimension. So anyway, so there you go. Those are my three picks. Did you want to add anything on Shay Shay?
Oh, I mean, random fact, they Ghostface also had like a clothing brand called Shay Shay La Ghost, and here's a sticker that I got from there too, and showed the single, got the vinyl too, and awesome track.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Why do you think that didn't make it for you?
It was in the top 5. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I even have like Apollo Kids here, just in case you picked it. But I mean, there's just a ton of good songs. Apollo Kids. I mean, Wu Banga. I mean, there's just a lot of great songs. Ghost Dini. I mean, we can keep going, but I don't know, man. It's a really good album. Top 3 is very tough to pick. So.
Yes, it is. But you guys got Amir's picks. You got my picks. As always, hit us in the comment section. Let us know what your top 3 picks are on Supreme Clientele by Ghostface Killah. If you haven't already, while you're down there, hit that subscribe button. If you have subscribed, tell a friend. We need to keep growing and get bigger. And join us, if you haven't already, as a member to Unique Access Entertainment. We appreciate everything you guys do for us and help to get us to the next level. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And thank you, Ghostface and the squad, for Supreme Clientele.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence, thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap, written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.